Hi, welcome back. Quick bit of housekeeping. If you're in the FPGA workshop that starts at 3 o'clock, you're only going to get maybe halfway through this talk. Apologies for that. It starts up at 3 outside in the alley. Our next speaker is a solid-state physicist and engineer by day and a hardware hacker by night. Some of my favorite projects of his on Hackaday I/O include a smart light sensor that uses the sunrise and sunset time to try to guess at your latitude and longitude. Very clever project. Works surprisingly well. He also has more microcontroller-based microcomputer projects than you can shake a stick at. And that's why we enlisted him to write the OS for the Hackaday badge. And so that's what he's going to be talking about today. Please join me in welcoming to the Hackaday Supercon stage, Jaromir Sukuba.
Thanks, Elliot, for invitation. My name is Jaromir Sukuba, and I am here to talk a little bit about batch development. Batch development?
Batch development.
Batch development. Huh?
What am I doing now?
No idea.
Me neither. God, I double-clicked on this before and it went like this. Okay, can you do it? I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm sorry.
Is this supposed to be in preview? What is this presentation in?
PDF file.
In preview? You should be able to. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I am here to talk about batch development. At first, I was asked by Voya to provide sources for a basic computer I built in the past, and I said, yes, why not? And from that point on, I somehow happened to be a lead developer of the batch firmware, and together with Mike Stich, we committed more than 500 commits to GitHub regarding this firmware. I had some more idea how to expand the Voya original idea of the batch. He promptly implemented those changes I had on mind. And the result is batch that you all have in your hands. It all started as a batch. It all started about 1 year ago as a batch for a Belgrade conference. It took a lot of time to hone the hardware and firmware to the state of the as it was on in Belgrade, and we had to solve some last moment problem, like the flash was different on final hardware than we expected from prototypes, but it was really easy to fix. This is how development looked before the Belgrade conference. As you can see, it was really regular, and there were absolutely no panic before Belgrade conference. The Belgrade badge was kind of test bed to probe all the ideas we had on mind, and from that point on, we improved it a lot, caught a lot of bugs that were found during the Belgrade conference. So what you have is refined and and much improved version than the one in Belgrade. In fact, it started much earlier than the Belgrade conference because I was big fan of portable computing and computers since I was a little kid, and I was fascinated by computers, and I always wanted to build one. So it happened, I built like dozens of them, and none of them is perfect, but I try to distill all the experiences I gathered from all the years into this single project, this badge. You have a lot of things to play with on the badge. There is basic interpreter, there is tiny basic, this is the original version from 70s. It's running on emulated Z80 hardware. Also on Z80 hardware runs CPM machines that provide you, for example, Zork game, or you can program in Z80 assembly or play with MBasic and Fort. There is also Tetris game. There is puzzle. There is really interesting thing to do and solve. There are some Easter egg, and the badge is really universally usable. On CPM, there are really dozens of kilobytes of software. There's really a lot of software. You can play with it. You can play games. You can program it. Basic interpreter is another friend. It's modified by UBasic by Adam Dunkels. There are a lot of standard words, from different basic implementations. There are custom words to control serial port, RGB ladder, or expansion port. You have also flash memory on board to save your program, so you don't need to risk the losing of your program if something bad happens. On expansion board, as Voja mentioned, there are serial port, I2C, and GPIO. You have also keyboard and display to play with, and speaker to play some great music. All the firmware on badge is released on GitHub, with the exception of puzzle source, in order to make the puzzle more interesting and harder to crack. We didn't release the puzzle source for now. It will be released after the Supercon, so you could take a look at it. If you have any questions regarding the firmware of the badge, you can ask me. A lot of people also already use this, and I help them to modify the firmware or ask some questions. Have a good time with the badge. We put a lot of work into it, so I hope you will like it, and have a good time.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause for Jaromir Sukuba.